turn that off because it's time to get down to business. It's the serious YouTube channel. Y'all know I'm lying. Man, I am so lying right now. Let me turn these off because this channel is not about business. This channel is all about being your favorite spot for the latest and greatest infotainment on YouTube because it's New Stuff TV, baby, the Untechnical Tech channel. I'm your host, Antoine. Welcome to my Boom Boom Room Richardson, because today we're gonna be talking about what do I get if I have $1,000 or around $1,000? Do I get 2 JBL Boomboxes or 1 SoundBoks Generation 3 PA party professional speaker? Because it's about $1,000, right? It's like $9.99 if you get it from their website. And then you got the JBL Boombox 2, which is about $500, but you can still get it on a discount because the Boombox 3 has been released, right? So we're talking about $1,000 right here, give or take, you know, $50 to $100. And then with the SoundBoks, we got about $1,000. So what do I get? Do I get 2 or 1 for 2 or 2 for 1? That's a decision that some people would probably have to need to make if you have a lot of first world problems. But let's think about it though, man. If you go for the Boombox way, if you go that route, you are getting 2. And let's say if you want to get 2 of the Boombox 2 or 2 Boombox 3s, you know, you got a lot going on here with the 3. Let's just talk about and camp out here for a second, because with the upgraded version of the 3, you're getting a dedicated subwoofer in here, 2 dynamic range drivers, and 2 tweeters sitting on top of them. If you stick with the 2, you got 2 dynamic range drivers, and then you got 2 tweeters, but it still punches out a lot of bass. It just doesn't have as much range, you know, it's just not as much range sonically as you would get in the Boombox 2. This one's way better as far as I'm concerned. But if you need like the real deal, like I'm a showstopper kind of party guy or girl, you could just pick up the SoundBoks and take care of all your business, because we got 10s up in here. Wilson, come over here, Wilson. I want to show the people this. So if you look right here, I got this grill. You can get a black, a blue, a red, or orange grill. And I think there's even a white one. But I got this grill on here, so it might be a little hard to see, but there are 2 10s. There's a 10 right there, and there's a 10 right there, and you got this gigantic horn tweeter. So when we're talking about mid-range, bass, and treble, we got you all taken care of right here inside of this grill, right behind this grill. Oh man, the sound that this thing puts out. We're talking about 126 decibels at full volume. That is insane, man. That's a lot of noise. I don't know what the JBL Boomboxes put out as far as decibels, but they are loud AF, and they do bring the heat when it comes to bass. So that's why I'm having this first world problem right here. You got about a G, you need to decide, do I get 2 or 1? Now, when it comes to durability, what we got is waterproof, and it floats. So if you take it to a lake or pool or something like that, you ain't got to worry about it falling in there and not retrieving it, because it floats. So if it's in a lake, it's just gonna float to the top, you'll be able to retrieve it. Dust proof, so if you take it to the beach, you ain't gotta worry about sand and stuff getting in here, because it's gonna be repelled. It's just gonna fall out of here. You just wash it off and go. But when you need something like maybe some peripherals or something like a microphone or something like that, JBL cannot do that for you. That's when you have to go over here to the SoundBoks, because on the back side of this thing, we got 2 aux ports. One is an input, one is an output. And then you got 2, I'm gonna say microphone jacks. It's the 3-prong that you can plug in like a real, what is the microphone? Like a, what's the micro, you know, the good microphone with the 3-prong cord? You can plug in 2 of those, or you can have you can use this as like a guitar amp, and then the other side you can use for your microphone. So you can do full scale, almost like karaoke with this thing if you wanted to, especially when you connect it to the app and then choose the different sound modes that you have. With the JBL, you just have your 3-band EQ. With this, you have, with the SoundBoks, you have an indoor, an outdoor, or a power mode, and then you have a bass mode, which is just stupid, just crazy. And then of course you have a custom mode. But here's where things get really, really heated. With the Boombox, you have 24 hours of battery life, and we don't know at what volume that is. Sometimes it's like 30% volume, sometimes it's like 50% volume, but you cannot be blasting this thing for 24 hours at full volume. But you can get 24 hours out of it if you're doing like maybe 30%, and that should be just fine, because they do produce enough sound for that. But when we're talking about the SoundBoks, we're getting 40 hours of battery life played at 50% volume. That's insane. That's a lot of battery life. Now, if you turn it up for full blast at that 126 decibels, you're only going to get about 5 hours of battery life. But here's something that's even cooler about the SoundBoks. This right here. This little battery, it looks like an ATV battery, right? This is the actual battery for the SoundBoks. So let's just say you spend 40 hours partying. Like, I don't know what kind of drugs you're doing at this party to keep you going for 40 hours, but let's just say you outlast this battery. You can detach it, pull it out, go charge it somewhere, and then slide in another one, and then you can crank that party up for another 40 hours. Bruh, that's 80 hours of partying at 50% volume. That is redonkulous. That's just nuts. I don't know who parties for 80 hours, but you do you, boo-boo. But form factor is actually going to be a huge deal for a lot of people, because if you get two boom boxes, you got two things with handles that you can carry them in both hands. We're talking about the Boombox 3 weighing in at approximately 15 pounds, like almost 15 pounds. And then the Boombox 2 is a little bit lighter, but then you have two different speakers to worry about. But if you combine the weight of these, you're almost feeling like you're carrying one SoundBoks Generation 3. So when it comes to putting it in your trunk or something like that, yeah, you got plenty of room for two boom boxes. The SoundBoks 3 actually fit in my trunk, and it will fit in the back seat. It looks huge and intimidating, but it actually fits in a lot of different places. Like, you could fit this in the back of a Honda Civic or a Corolla or something like that, if that's what you're driving. So it's not too big, and it does have handles on the side, and one person can actually lift this thing. So it's not like super heavy, even though it looks big and gargantuan. But as far as form factor, I don't know, man. That one's gonna be a tough one, because it depends on your use cases. You got the boom boxes, one in each hand, or you use both hands to carry this old SoundBoks here. But now we got the ultimate question. You know, if you got about a G and you need a lot of noise and you want it clean, which one do you pick? So now we get to answer that one question you all came here to get the answer to. Get in here, Wilson. Get in here. There you go. But do they jam though? I'm standing roughly 12 feet away, and it sounds good. It's just not very loud. There's traffic on a main street neighboring us. That was the JBL Boombox 2 and Boombox 3 at 50% volume and about 95% volume. I got a main street over there to the left, and I got a little traffic in the back. We're at a baseball field right now, so if you had these two speakers, it would be good to have them, you know, two of them, because you can actually spread them apart and have kind of stereo sound. Well, you would have kind of stereo sound, and if you had two identical of these speakers, respectively, you would be able to achieve stereo. But is it enough? Yes and no, because it sounds good until, you know, you might change this out, because now we're going to jump into the SoundBoks Generation 3 and we're going to see what it does. I haven't really turned it up that loud, so I don't know, but the microphone you're hearing it from is roughly 12 feet away. So let's just see how this is going to work out. All right, before I turn on the SoundBoks, the volume works a little bit different. It has a gigantic volume knob on the side of it, which is controlled separately from your Bluetooth. So you can actually turn that thing up all the way on the box to 11, and then on your phone you can control the volume from there. So I got it cranked up all the way to full volume, and then I'm gonna crank it up to 50% on my phone, and then we'll do 100 or maybe a 95% test. So here we go. All right, we're gonna change songs and crank this thing up to 100 or 95%. All right, guys, look, it's clear as day that one is better than two when it comes to spending the money as far as sound quality goes. The SoundBoks is just on another level when it comes to audio quality at max volume and how much audio you're getting out there. I'm at a baseball field, and I'm pretty sure if I sat it right here where I'm at behind the first baseball field, you can hear it clear across the field to the other baseball diamond. Not so much the case with these Boombox 3s. They're excellent speakers, I love them, but that is not the case, man. SoundBoks, you hit this one out of the park, like figuratively and literally, pun intended. But that doesn't mean you don't get a great experience with two boomboxes. I mean, you're spending quite a bit of money here, but you can separate these things and get maybe stereo or at least some type of surround sound in your environment. But if you got a G, which one you picking? Are you rolling with the SoundBoks Generation 3 or the Boombox 3 and another Boombox 3 or a Boombox 2? Who knows, man? This is some first world stuff we got going here. But man, what do you do? What do you do? Because you have portability with these. You can just grab one if you want it, if you needed one for that day, and you know, you could have some great sound. But this right here is not so portable because you need a little bit of trunk space, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. Tell me in the comments, which one would you pick? If you had to spend a G, would you get two of these or one of these? That's a tough one, man. That's a whole lot of sound coming out of here. But I'm gonna leave y'all with some tracks, man. Let's just ride this thing out with some different tracks. What are we gonna play, Wilson? Let's think about this. What are we gonna think about this? What are we going to play? I know what we're going with. Match My Vibe.